Let's begin by talking about average draft position. The top 10 in ADP, you see him right there on that board, and there's really no surprise because at the very top of that, it's Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts. And in that top 10, you see 6 running backs, 4 wide receivers, rounding out the total of the top 10. Kind of a mix, too, of veterans like Cooper Kupp, and even a guy like Dalvin Cook is all of a sudden a veteran in the NFL. Derrick Henry certainly that way as well. But we have the possibility of drafts being turned on their heads at pick number 2, Mike Clay, because we think, and Damian can debunk this theory, that many people will take Jonathan Taylor number 1 overall. Damian, of course, scored the first pick in our draft tomorrow night.
I will be.
Okay, there you have it.
Wow,
There it is. Cat's out of the bag, so to speak.
I'm
on the clock.
Yeah,
Shefty actually had that on Twitter 25 seconds ago, so I knew it was coming. But, Mike, that's where things get interesting is pick 2. And last year, the best player in fantasy football over the course of the season was Cooper Kupp. Not just elite, but elite and consistent as well. Is there a case for him at number 2?
There's definitely a case. I mean, a guy that was top 12 in 15 out of 17 appearances last season, that pretty much led every wide receiver category, of course. I mean, look, at this point in the draft, you have to get a little picky, right? We're kind of picking as much as we possibly can here. I do worry a little bit about the fact that Cooper Kupp played all the way through. Like, he had that volume through the Super Bowl. You know, that's a lot. It was the first 17-game season ever. Played every single postseason game. I would not fault anyone who wanted Cooper Kupp after how good he was last season.
I will say this. He has shown remarkable health. He pays incredible attention to his body, his nutrition, everything. He's one of the very few players who came back and in the year following his ACL injury put up excellent numbers.
Career highs across the board.
Most people it takes another year, not Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, over 100 catches and over 1,000 receiving yards in his first year back off of that ACL tear that took place on October 18th of the season. So he had not even a full year to get back to full strength, and he was. Maybe the only concern you could have right now regarding Cooper Kupp is whether his quarterback is going to be fully healthy. And for more on Matthew Stafford, we bring in Adam Schefter. And Shefty, Sean McVay has been pretty clear about the pain Matthew Stafford has experienced, calling it abnormal. But how much of a concern is this really?
Well, it seems like there's more concerns publicly than there are privately within the Rams organization. One member of the organization said last week after watching Matthew Stafford throw at practice one day, it was the best he had seen him throw. Now, this is something that Matthew Stafford has played with in the past. It's not something new that all of a sudden surfaced this summer. This is something that the organization has managed in the past, that Matthew Stafford himself has managed in the past. They understand what he's working with, and they're being smart with him this summer and not wasting throws. And they have an eye on the opener, the Thursday night opener against the Buffalo Bills, and it would be shocking if Matthew Stafford were not out there, starting under center, playing his reps, and the chances are, with as tough as Matthew Stafford is, he will play all the games this season and do the types of things that Matthew Stafford is used to doing.
Yeah, the bottom line, and this is to Adam's point, they were dealing with it at the end of last year. Yeah. He's on track for week 1. Everything has been scheduled to this point. Not worried about Matthew Stafford.
Not much of a math guy, but I think just 24 days until the first NFL regular season game. Didn't Stafford play with like a broken back a few years ago?
Yeah. Well, there's so many. He's played through almost everything. I mean, he only missed time really in the beginning, very beginning. He had the finger, remember, it would keep dislocating, still kept throwing the ball. They won a Super Bowl when he was dealing with this elbow issue. So I think they'll be okay.
So injury, a problem potentially for Matthew Stafford, but not a grave problem. He'll find a way to power through.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.